Beat ahead for a few more years to 2000, and by that time I had gotten to know Sam Mates. He and I went to Houston, and we were performing due diligence on a company called Telemetrics, which LMI subsequently purchased. And Sam and I went through the 4-day Models for Management program to see all of the tools and tricks and ideas that Telemetrics put to use. Telemetrics, in those sessions, Telemetrics claimed that no personality test can identify the styles that Jay Hall had found in his research on personality and effectiveness in getting results. I heard that and I thought, like heck, words to that effect, I think there is a way for the profile to get at those styles. And I told that to Sam, and we agreed that we would start working on a way to build the tool and integrate the tool into the profile evaluation system. Parenthetical, a year or two later, I learned that Mike Weaver, who had worked a great deal with Telemetrics and knew the profile pretty well, had done a similar thing for his own business and was in fact using profiles to help explain Telemetric styles. So I got an affirmation in that regard. What Sam and I built and attached to the profile was a set of descriptive materials from Jay Hall's writings, from his style parallax model and from his models for management material. I had to use that because if I made up my own ideas and put them into the product, my ideas would not be validated. And if you're going to put something into a test, you have to worry about the validation that exists with the existing additions, or you have to revalidate the entire piece of equipment if you're going to do it the right and proper way. So what did we end up with? Well, we end up with this interesting piece of equipment called Leadership Expressions, which is not particularly user-friendly when it comes to understanding Jay Hall's styles, and not amenable to an easy presentation to your clients. And that's always bothered me because I know from profile evaluation, from effective personal leadership training, and I'm in the 15 session one right now, I know how important it is to understand the link between your personality and what you are trying to grow as an effective personal leader. So it bothers me that I hadn't produced a useful link, and therefore the purpose of today's seminar is to reveal some of my recent thinking about how to do that. And in fact, I'm hoping that you will see it as a napkin presentation, because I believe you can actually keep it all in your head. I believe you can use a pretty good sized napkin and get the whole thing on a single piece of paper during a lunch. And I think your client or prospective client will actually understand it. So, moving forward, here we go. From this morning's session, I was reminded of Stephen Covey and his begin with the end in mind. And so I thought that I would give you a view of what the end might look like. I have to imagine a napkin. I am not good enough to cut and paste a napkin into a PowerPoint. But this is what would be on the napkin, whatever these are, right? Percentages, names of styles from Jay Hall's model, some sort of fit expression, and CS. And you can see that CS comes in different varieties. So that's the end product. Now let's talk about how I get there. Yeah. All right. We're going to do a napkin. Finally, we have the challenge and support little boxes on one side of the napkin. We then have the developer, manipulator, taskmaster, comforter, and regulator connected up with the challenge and support styles. So a developer is probably a well-balanced challenge support individual. Now we also have the degree of fit that the person has to this pattern. And we also know from Jay Hall's research that the developer pattern is the most effective at about 92 out of 100 in terms of good results from other people. So now we've got that for each of Jay Hall's styles. We have our nice little transactional model drawn with a flip-flop, or the big challenge, little support, big support, little challenge, or the tiny, 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 no support, no challenge. We have those drawn. We have that. That's a regulator. Okay, and look at this guy. His balance is between developer and regulator. My gosh, he's schizophrenic. Taskmaster. When there's a 0, what that means is that not only is this person not a taskmaster in how he does or uses his personality to get results, he doesn't like it when anybody else is a taskmaster and tries to play that game with him. Okay? He's quick to tell them what they can do with that style. That's what the 0 means. Right? We don't have a fit to the flip-flop manipulator because I didn't figure out how to do it back then. If we did, maybe we could tell that he's not all regulator. Maybe he's a little manipulator as well. So here's the napkin, and if you understood all the preceding parts, you can make those meaningful, and you can draw them out, and you can explain maybe the person whose fit numbers you are showing is the person you're having lunch with. And you can say to that person, well, here's where you are. Oh, okay. So what do you do now? And just to immediately following page after the summary page for the leadership expression styles part, page 7, gives the 10 personality dimensions of the profile, and then it gives the scores of the individual who is a respondent, and then there's the idealized developer pattern, and this shows the 73% fit, and there are at least a couple of things that aren't a fit to being a developer. Now, this person is me, and so I can speak very much from self-awareness. I like being a developer, but in an EPL personal leadership program, I need to do something more than just develop other people. I need to develop myself, and it may be that for me to develop myself, I have to come to some new understanding about how I compete. I love to compete to do the best I can. That's great. But, when you're working with LMI programs, the one thing they start out with is, let's have a win-win agreement. Why can't we have a best agreement? No, it has to be a win-win agreement. You have to face up to the need to win by doing stuff that you haven't been doing before, and you want to win because you're not happy with the results that you have been getting from before. So that might mean that you learn how to compete in a little bit different manner than your default setting. It also might mean that you learn how to be a little tougher than that nice psychologist sensitive side that you have. Maybe you better toughen up a touch. Possible.